Imagine you finally get a seat at the table. Not a great seat. Not a front row, arrived early, had connections seat. Just a seat. The kind that took years of watching from the outside while other people made money on things you wished you'd known about sooner. And now, right now, one of the most hyped companies in human history just went public. You can literally buy a piece of the company that's trying to colonize Mars. The company that makes rockets land themselves. The company that Elon Musk built for 24 years in private. And now it's sitting there on your brokerage app with a little green button that says, buy. That feeling? That pull? That's not excitement. That's something a lot more complicated than excitement. And if you don't understand it, really understand it, it might cost you more than you expect. Because the SpaceX IPO isn't just a financial event, it's a psychological one. And the clock that actually matters didn't start ticking on IPO day. It starts about 90 days after. Most people think the risk in a big IPO is missing out. That's the fear that drives the whole conversation. Will I get in before it goes up? Will I be left behind again? But here's what most people aren't thinking about, and it's actually the more important question. What happens to the stock after the excitement fades? See, we've been conditioned to think of an IPO as a starting gun. The company goes public, the stock pops, early investors win, and the story continues from there. But that's not really how it works. The IPO is more like an intermission. The real first act, the one that actually tests your nerves and your strategy, happens in the months that follow. And this is true for almost every massive IPO. Think back to Facebook. Think back to Uber. Think back to Rivian, Palantir, Snowflake. Each of those listings was surrounded by enormous buzz. Each of them had millions of regular people rushing to get in. And each of them had a moment, usually somewhere in that 90 to 180-day window after going public, where the stock either broke people's expectations or broke people's portfolios. The thing is, that moment isn't random. It's actually scheduled. It's written into the legal documents that the company files before the IPO ever happens. And most retail investors, regular people like you and me, don't even know to look for it. So let's talk about what this actually is, what SpaceX specifically set up, and why it matters if you're thinking about buying SPCX stock right now. So SpaceX went public on June 12th, 2026. Historic day. They priced shares at $135 each, raised approximately $75 billion, and made it the largest IPO in stock market history. That's not hype, that's just the number. Even Saudi Aramco didn't raise that much when it listed in 2019. Now, and this is the part I really want you to understand. Not everyone who owned SpaceX before the IPO could sell on day one. When a company goes public, there are insiders, early employees, venture capitalists, executives, friends, and family of the founders. All of these people have been holding shares for years, sometimes decades. And the moment a company goes public, if all of them could instantly sell their shares into the market, the stock would collapse. There'd be an enormous flood of supply hitting the market on day one, and that would crush the price. So to prevent that, there's something called a lockup period. It's a legally binding agreement that says you can't sell your insider shares for a set amount of time after the IPO. Usually it's 90 to 180 days. You're locked up, you wait. SpaceX did something a little different here. And it's genuinely worth understanding because it's not the simple, clean lockup structure most companies use. Instead of one big lockup that expires all at once, SpaceX built what's called a staggered or tiered release schedule. Think of it like a series of smaller pressure valves instead of one big dam. Here's roughly how it works. After SpaceX releases its first earnings report as a public company, which is expected sometime in late July or August of 2026, insiders can sell up to 20% of their locked shares. Then, starting around 70 days after the IPO, another wave releases. Then again, at 90 days. Then 105, 120, and 135 days. Each time, another 7% unlocking. And after the second earnings report, covering the quarter through September, another 28% of insider shares become eligible. By 180 days out, whatever is left is fully released. Now here's what makes this psychologically interesting. and a little unsettling for everyday investors. Elon Musk himself is not subject to most of these early release provisions. He holds around 12% of Class A shares, but he controls more than 80% of the voting power. His shares are a different category of the conversation entirely. But all the other insiders, early employees, venture funds, people who got in at early valuations that are a fraction of today's price, they are the ones who've been waiting years for this moment. And now, on a rolling schedule starting in a matter of weeks, they will have the legal ability to start cashing out. There's also a 5% slice of IPO shares called a friends and family allocation. Those shares carry no lockup at all. That's roughly $3.75 billion worth of stock that could theoretically be sold starting on day one. Now, before you panic, let me be really clear. The fact that insiders can sell doesn't mean they will sell everything immediately. Staggered schedules are designed specifically to smooth out this supply. And frankly, if you believe in SpaceX's long-term story, some of these early insiders might hold for years. Some of them probably will. But history tells us something pretty consistent about what happens when a massively hyped stock reaches its first major lockup expiration. Let's look at the examples that actually happened. Palantir went public in September 2020. Retail investors drove it from $10 a share to nearly $40 by early 2021. Then the lockup expired. Insiders, including Peter Thiel, sold tens of millions of shares into that elevated price. The stock dropped 13% in a single day. It spent months recovering. Rivian, the electric truck company, dropped about 20% in a single day when Ford announced it would sell its stake after the 180-day mark expired. Uber hit an all-time low on the day its lockup expired. It was sitting about 40% below its IPO price. Even Snowflake, which also used a staggered structure like SpaceX, still fell roughly 11% in the week surrounding its final lockup expiration. The pattern is consistent, and the reason it keeps happening isn't a conspiracy. It's just supply and demand combined with human psychology. When a lot of people all become eligible to sell at the same time, some of them will. The market knows this, professional traders know this, and the very analysts who cover these stocks watch for lockup expiration dates the way hawks watch for mice in a field. The date is literally printed in the prospectus. Yet somehow, retail investors keep getting caught off guard. And this is where the psychology gets really interesting, because it's not that people are uninformed. It's that the excitement of the story overrides the mechanics of the structure. The SpaceX IPO being the biggest in history doesn't mean it's the best investment at today's price. Those are two completely different sentences, and a lot of people are conflating them right now because they feel like the same sentence. Being extraordinary at what you do, building reusable rockets, revolutionizing satellite internet, changing how we think about space, doesn't automatically mean the stock is priced to make you money at $135 a share. At that price, SpaceX is valued at approximately $1.75 trillion. For context, that's nearly 100 times its 2025 revenue. That's an enormous amount of future growth already built into the price before the company has even had one quarter as a public company. That's not a criticism of SpaceX's business. It's genuinely remarkable. Starlink is profitable, the launch economics are unmatched in the industry, and the government contract pipeline is real and growing. None of that is in dispute. But great company and great stock to buy right now are two different things. And the lockup structure, this scheduled sequence of insider share releases, is one of the clearest signals that the next 90 to 180 days are going to carry more volatility than people expect. The real risk for most retail investors isn't that SpaceX fails. It's that they buy into the story, pay a premium price driven by hype, and then watch the stock pull back 20 or 30% when the supply dynamics shift, not because anything is wrong with the company, but simply because the calendar turned a page. And that moment of watching something you believed in fall in price, it does something to people. It makes them sell at the worst time. And that's how ordinary investors end up actually losing money on companies that eventually go on to do incredibly well. So what do you actually do with this information? Because I don't want to leave you with a bunch of context and no direction. First, and I know this sounds boring, but bear with me, consider separating your emotional reaction to SpaceX as a story from your financial decision about SpaceX as a stock. You could admire what Elon Musk has built, You can root for Starship to reach Mars. You can genuinely believe this company changes the world. And you can also say, I'm going to wait and see how the stock behaves before I put real money in. Those two things are not in conflict. Second, understand what the next few months actually look like mechanically. The first meaningful insider unlock happens sometime in late July or early August, tied to Q2 earnings. Then another wave at 90 days out, roughly mid-September. Then more at 105, 120, and 135 days. Each of those dates is an inflection point where the market will recalibrate. Watching how the stock holds or doesn't hold around those events will tell you far more about the strength of real demand than the first day of trading ever could. Third, if you have already bought shares or you plan to, think about position size. The same way you wouldn't put 40% of your savings into any single bet, you probably don't want SpaceX to be the dominant holding in your portfolio right now. Not because it's a bad company, because volatility is real, and making emotional decisions when your position is large can cost you more than the position itself. And fourth, something almost nobody talks about. Consider what it means that 30% of the IPO was allocated to retail investors. That's 3 times the normal amount. Most IPOs reserve only 5 to 10% for regular people. SpaceX gave retail investors a much larger slice than usual. That's interesting. It could mean they wanted to build a community of individual shareholders who believe in the mission. It could also mean the institutional demand wasn't as overwhelming as the headlines made it sound. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying it's a question worth sitting with. Look, I think a lot of people right now are feeling something when they look at SpaceX stock. A mixture of excitement and FOMO, and maybe a little guilt for not having known about it sooner. That feeling is real, and it's completely human. But the most useful thing I can tell you is this. The best investors I've ever read about, followed, or studied, they don't move fast on big moments. They let the moment pass. They let the excitement settle. And then they look at what's actually left. The SpaceX story isn't going anywhere. Starlink is already in over 100 countries. Starship is still in development. The Mars mission is still decades away at minimum. There will be many, many more days to make a decision about this company. Most of them without the noise and pressure of IPO week crowding your thinking. The 90-day window is real. The lockup schedule is published. The history of similar situations is not ambiguous. That doesn't mean SpaceX stock is going to collapse. It might just consolidate quietly or even continue climbing if demand stays strong. But you deserve to go in knowing what the structure actually looks like, not just what the story feels like. Because the story is built to make you feel something. The structure is what actually determines what happens to your money. And you're smart enough to pay attention to both. If this helped you think more clearly about SpaceX, or about any big IPO, consider sharing it with someone who's been asking you whether they should buy. Sometimes the most valuable thing isn't a yes or no. It's a clearer picture of the full map. Take care of yourselves. Progress beats perfection. And I'll see you in the next one.